Real quickly, I'm the owner and CEO of City and State Real Estate here in Oregon and Washington. We believe in investing in our agents so they can invest in their business and their clients is the best path to success. And we do a lot with education and coaching and training. And this is a little snapshot into some of the things we're doing here at City and State, and happy to share it with you guys. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is mindset. The more and more I talk to people in business and in real estate, especially in real estate and in sales, your mindset really dictates what reality you see. I tell this story of last spring. I was driving down Weidler Street through the Lloyd Center, and it was a kind of a gray, rainy day, and I was kind of just watching the road ahead of me and, you know, making sure no one was running across the street. And I got to a red light, and I looked up, and I noticed that all of the trees on both sides of the street for blocks and blocks and blocks were in full bloom. They're just brilliant white, and it was just gorgeous. And I realized, and I looked at my rearview mirror, that I'd been driving down the street with these beautiful trees, but all I had seen was the road in front of me, the kind of the gray, wet concrete. The trees had been there the whole time, but I could see them, but I wasn't aware of them. And that's an analogy for life and in business. What you believe in life and how your perspective will really dictate what you see. And I mean that in kind of a figurative sense, but also in a literal sense. And that's why I share the story of the wet concrete and the trees. Is I could have just as easily not noticed that those trees were in bloom and just focused on the rainy day and the concrete. But I could have just as easily noticed that the trees were in bloom and not notice the rain and the concrete and the puddles. And like that, how you see your business and how you see different obstacles and hardships and challenges that are presented in life really dictates your reality. And how you approach that will change your results and further kind of reinforce your beliefs. So I think it's important whenever you're starting to learn something new is to have an open mind, be willing to be challenged, and to look at what opportunities there are in hardships and how you can show up in those places. Now, this is a conversation I have with realtors all the time. And it's something that I've definitely been guilty of. And I think all of us at some point or at some level are guilty of this. We reward ourselves and congratulate ourselves when we help a client buy a house and the market goes up and our clients make money. And I mean, we've talked about it to our clients, and we've certainly shared, oh, gee, the average homeowner made $50,000 every year, the price went up 10%. And that's true, but it's not something that we control as agents. It's something that we're aware of. We can share that information. That's good because it shows that you're aware of the market and you're a professional, but it doesn't mean it was your doing. Now, the flip side of that is agents oftentimes, when things are difficult or when a market is level or declining, will take responsibility and feel a sense of guilt that, oh, I don't want to call my clients because they bought a house last year and now the market's down and they're going to blame me. Well, unless you were telling them that you guaranteed it would go up, which I don't recommend you do, then you didn't control that. And our job is to help people navigate the market. It's to help whether the market's going up or down, whether they're buying or selling, whether they're in distress or whether they have all the time in the world and all the resources in the world. Our job in this business is to help people navigate the market that we're in. We don't control it. So I think it's good as a mindset piece to start by saying, you know, if and when we go through a decline or a pullback, which may or may not happen, that we didn't control that. And so don't feel a sense of guilt or apprehension in calling your clients. It's worse to avoid your clients when things are bad than it is to reach out and see how you can help. Right now, there's a lot of people that are going through a lot of pain. Our economy has been basically shut down. Luckily in Oregon, we're still allowed to help people with real estate. Washington State, though, was shut down for quite a while and just opened a couple weeks ago. And it's a limited, slow opening up there. And so I had a lot of colleagues that were not able to do really much of anything. But even if you're not able to do your job, you can still be there to help people. And there's lots of great stories out there of people helping deliver groceries, helping take care of errands for people that are sick or who are at high risk for getting sick, or don't have the resources or the ability to protect themselves or to go get their groceries and things like that. So it doesn't have to be you delivering groceries to people, but what we're really trying to focus on is helping people first. And I think if you start with value, if you start with helping people, it's much easier to start conversations and to be there for your clients and for the market. Um, it's a lot harder to call people if your only goal is to call people to see if they want to hire you to buy or sell something. You're less likely to make those calls and stay in touch with people. You're less likely to check in, and you miss a huge opportunity to be there just as a human and connect with another person and see how they're doing and how you can help them. The other thing I would say is to have a bias for action. I was doing a coaching session with a great agent who had built this wonderful marketing strategy for helping people sell properties who lived out of state. They bought a property in Oregon, they had moved for whatever reason, and now they still had a house here that they potentially wanted to sell. And he stopped calling those people because he said he felt like it was the wrong time. And I said, how many people have gotten mad at you for calling him? And he said, well, I don't know. I haven't called anyone because I chose to stop because I was worried that they would think it was a bad. And I said, I think people will be really happy that you're still available to help them when a lot of businesses and a lot of people aren't able to help. And, you know, we talked a lot about mindset and starting with value and starting with helping, not with selling. And I think that helped him overcome that and get started again. So there's 3 parts to the shutdown strategy. And the first one is staying connected. And if this is the only thing you get from this today, it will be incredibly valuable, because the roller coaster of real estate and sales is all about staying connected with people so they know you're there to help them, but also taking care of the service and needs of your clients when you're in contract or you have a listing. And right now, I think a lot of folks are kind of hiding out and hunkering down and not being as proactive as they could be. So the best way to stay connected is to start with value. And what I mean with that is make sure that if you're going to reach out to people, that you're giving them information or ideas or resources that are there to help them, not you. So the simplest way you can do this, and a lot of what we're doing with our clients is, a month or so ago when this started, we were reaching out to a lot of our clients. A lot of them are small business owners. We were just making sure that they were aware of the SBA loan programs that were about to become available and how to apply for those so they could help their businesses and keep their employees employed. And I'm a small business owner, and I think that that is, one of the biggest responsibilities is to make sure you can take care of your people and that your business is profitable so you can keep everyone employed and stay prosperous and help people grow. So there was tons of people that you would assume would know about all this that didn't know about it, that we introduced them to the resource, the idea. We shared the links so they could set up their applications. Now, even for our clients that don't have businesses that are employees or retired or just self-employed, we were sharing resources on what's going on in the real estate market. A lot of people had lost a lot of money in the stock market because it corrected pretty aggressively and lost quite a bit of value very quickly. And so we had a lot of people that were very nervous and scared because of that. And so it felt really good to be able to call clients and share that the real estate market was actually doing quite well, that homes are still selling, that you can still get a loan for a house. Interest rates were volatile for a while, and now they've corrected down to being very affordable again. And, sharing that with people, I think gave a lot of our clients and friends comfort that maybe their 401k had gone down, but their house hadn't lost value. And in some cases, we're seeing values go up. So again, if you start with value, I know that it's always easier to make those calls and stay connected. So just think of something you can share, whether that's a resource that could help your clients, whether that's hosting a volunteer day, whether that's explaining what's going on in the market. Those are all things that are valuable to the people you serve. So the other thing is just call your people. Social media is great, texting's great, email's great, but there's just so much noise. And right now, I heard recently at our weekly meeting, someone mentioned that the percentage of people that are answering calls now is higher than it's been in decades. And it's because a lot of people aren't working full time and they aren't running around going to movies, going to shows, going to dinners, unfortunately. And so people are more available now than maybe they've ever been in some people for their lifetimes. So now is a great time to call your people. And when I say call, I mean use a telephone, dial a phone number, talk to them, or FaceTime or Zoom. Those all count. But one-on-one connection, ask how you can help. Just start there. Hey, I hope you're doing well. It's crazy times. I wanted to check in. Is there anything I can do to help you? By the way, here's what's going on in the market. Here's where inventory is. Here's where average home prices are. Here's where days on market are. And network. Whenever you reach out to someone and you start with, service-minded, you start with value, it gives you the opportunity to ask them to help connect you with other folks that might need your help or services. There's definitely folks that are going to get job opportunities in new states. They're going to get motivated to go maybe back to college and finish a PhD or a master's or bachelor's. There's going to be a project somewhere else that's going to take people away. There's going to be a lot of positive reasons why people choose to move both in and out of our market. And so asking for connections of who you know that might be looking to buy or sell that we could help. Always make sure you're networking and adding people to your database and to your network and your sphere of influence. And the other thing is be consistent. I host a mastermind group of top agents, all from different brokerages. It's a really fun group. And I asked them before this class, I said, what would be the number one thing that advice you would give someone? And overwhelmingly, people said, be consistent. And what that means is set an alarm, do your workouts, make your calls, do your follow-ups, make sure your newsletter gets sent on time. Just keep working, just keep showing up, keep helping people, keep doing your job. Like I said, in Oregon and now Washington, we can still go show property, we can list properties, we can help people. And our job is to navigate the market and the opportunities for our clients. So staying consistent, even when it's harder to. I know for almost all of us right now, a lot of folks with kids are now teachers, and everyone gets to spend a lot of time at home, cooking and cleaning more than we're used to. But trying to stay consistent with your business is going to help you get through this. Part 2, be proactive. Like I said at the very beginning, having a growth mindset, a positive mindset, and having a bias towards action is the critical starting point for success. And here are some ways that you can be more proactive. So if you're not doing as much business as you'd like, you got to be more proactive. You can't just wait for the phone to ring or for people to call you, especially right now when people are scared or there's a lot of uncertainty. People are more likely to kind of freeze up and stop making decisions. And so being able to help educate people on what's going on and what their options are is the best way to help them make decisions, which turns into business. So finding those motivated sellers, kind of a scary stat. Right now, 7% of mortgages in America are in forbearance, meaning that 7% of the people with mortgages in this country are not paying right now. Now, that is okay and it's allowed. It doesn't trigger a foreclosure. But the issue is when that forbearance ends, the payments that were skipped are still due. They don't get added on to the end of the mortgage, which would make it much easier. So all of a sudden, you have to pay all or a payment plan of these mortgages, and it's not clear yet how that's going to play out. I hope that there's a reasonable effort to make it so that people can pay on a payment plan, because if you skip 3 or 6 months of payments and then they restart it, you could owe all those back payments plus your current payments, and that's going to create a big problem for people. Now, the difference between now and the last real estate recession in 2008, 9, and 10 is that people now have quite a bit of equity in their homes. Most people were putting down decent down payments. The interest rates were lower. The income requirements and credit requirements were higher than they were in the last cycle. And so instead of people finding out that they lost their job and their house is worth less than they owe, if folks are in that position where they can't afford to keep their home or they need to move for work, they're going to have likely equity in their home right now, which is good news. So it'll create an opportunity to help more people sell, but not hopefully as many of them be short sales. The other thing I think that people get lazy with is we have all these automated searches. We have IDX systems. We have RMLS, reports you can send automatically. Those are great to keep people informed of what's out there, but there's nothing that beats finding an opportunity that you know is a great opportunity and then sharing that with your clients that it's a fit for. Now, keep in mind, that's a very big difference than having one client that you're looking for an opportunity for versus looking for the best opportunity and then sharing that with all of your clients that it fits. I think it's so much easier to sell a property if you find something that you as the agent are excited about, because if you know in your heart of hearts that it is a great opportunity, it's a great investment, it's a great home to live in, it's a great fixer, whatever it is, in that whatever category it is, it's easier to get your clients excited about it because it's special and you're presenting it to them, you're calling them to make sure they're looking at it, you're explaining why you're, of all the homes, the 6,000 homes that are available, this one you think is the right fit for that client. And being proactive and sharing that with them, asking if they want to go see it, and asking them if they want to make an offer and trying to get an accepted offer on it is much easier if you find something you're excited about versus waiting for your clients to get excited about something and then ask you to show it to them. The other thing you can do if you don't have a lot of buyers right now, or if your buyers are nervous about going out and looking, is to go and tour properties and do video tour walkthroughs, either one-on-one on like a Duo or FaceTime or Zoom on your phone, or recording a walkthrough of a home that you really like and then sharing that with multiple people you think it might be a fit for. So there's a lot of ways you can stay proactive even with restraints and restrictions. I was talking to an agent friend in Pittsburgh. They were 100% shut down, no leaving the house, no listings, no tours, no nothing. And so my agent friend there was working with the other agents to connect the sellers and the buyers to do FaceTime walkthroughs. So the seller would do a tour of their own home with the buyer, and both the agents would all be on this shared FaceTime call so that they could still do a tour of a home. They just had to coordinate it with more people. And it was just showed how you can still be creative and still help people get stuff done. We have a property in contract right now. The buyers out of state, they have not seen the property in person, but they've done multiple video walkthroughs with the agent. They know the neighborhood already, and we're in contract and moving forward, and it's going very well. So if you had asked me 6 months ago if that was a great idea, I would have said, gee, you really want to make sure the buyer's seen it in person before you sell it, because they might back out. But right now, the dynamics of that are all changing. So the other thing is share your successes. Don't be shy to talk about what you're doing. I think it's important to share the work you're doing. So if you're going to go tour houses and do video tours of your top 3 affordable homes in Northeast Portland, go ahead and share that on social media. Do a video of you explaining what you're doing, that you're doing a tour, and that you're looking at your favorite, properties for a certain segment of your client list, and do the videos for the clients, and then do the videos of yourself doing the work to kind of share what you're doing for your clients, to show your sphere what you're doing and what's possible, and how you're adapting your work to help people. The other thing is, right now, unfortunately, we're not able to do open houses. I wouldn't encourage door knocking right now with folks being kind of on a lockdown still in Oregon. It doesn't mean you can't call the neighbors though and share the success you had in helping their neighbors sell their house. I think it's still important to send postcards to share your successes, not only with your client list in your sphere, but also with the neighborhoods that you serve. And so that's a great way to add people to your sphere, to make new connections, and to meet new people and share what's going on in the market. Again, start with value, share information about the story of the house and how it sold, and what you did to make that work, and what the clients got. But sharing those successes can be really valuable right now. All right, part 3, planning ahead. I called a friend in Washington when they completely shut Washington down, and I said, what are you doing and what do you wish you had done a couple weeks ago? And he said, I wish I had gotten photos of all the houses I had listings for or listings coming up, even if they weren't ready. And I wish I had done video tours, even if they weren't ready, so that if someone had said, I want to list my house in March, and you're talking to them in January, go get the photos, get the video now, so that if we are shut down completely and you aren't able to send a photographer or you're unable to go do it, you have some information, you have some data on the house you can use. So get photos now, even if it's not ready. I mean, you could either choose to do professional photos now or use your own phone. I mean, it's incredible the quality of photos you can get out of an iPhone these days or an Android. Doing video walkthroughs, that's super important right now because there's still a lot of people that are out of state. There's people that are in their quarantines. There's people that are going to move here and have to be quarantined. We don't know how long this is going to last. And so doing those video walkthroughs so that buyers and agents can virtually preview properties is really important. Utilizing 3D technology, things like Matterport. There are other technologies out there you can utilize to give people a better sense of the space and what the house is, and do that without having to physically be there. The more of those things you can do and have prepared, the more prepared you'll be if, God forbid, we're shut down in the future from doing walkthroughs for a while, or that we have a resurgence that doesn't allow it. There's still going to be a lot of people, even once the economy opens, that are going to be nervous about exposing themselves to too many people, sellers and buyers alike. That's going to be a concern that's going to stick with people for a long time. And I don't think that that's unreasonable. And so utilizing photos, video, 3D technology, anything you can do to give people a way to see properties remotely, I think is going to be very valuable. The other thing is learn the technology. I think one of the positives from this is that people are okay now doing Zoom meetings. I put up their FaceTime and Duo. That's the FaceTime is the iOS or Apple video kind of conferencing that's built in. Duo is the Android. You can download the Duo app onto your iPhone and vice versa, FaceTime onto an Android, I believe. I use iOS, so I download the Duo app, and I actually used that to do a listing walkthrough and presentation with a client that's 76 years old, and it went great. Now, if anyone has parents, they know that sometimes people are not as tech focused or just not as used to using technology as folks that are in business still, or who are younger and just use it for social reasons. And so getting familiar and learning those tools, it might seem silly to you, but if you're an expert at that, teach your clients how to use those things, because you might need your client to do a Zoom walkthrough for an inspector or a buyer or another agent, or for you. There might be opportunities to do listings remotely. I talked to another agent, a good friend of mine, who took a listing completely remotely. He did the video walkthrough with the seller. The photographer did the photos with just the seller there, and he's got it in contract and is selling it, and it's all done remotely. He hasn't physically gone to the home because he's quarantined with him and his family right now, and they're not really going out. So if you don't know how to use these tools, make sure you know how to use these. If you know them well, and if you don't, make sure you learn them and then share with your clients how to use these tools to stay connected and to continue to operate your business. And I would say right now, you know, without the distractions of sports and going out to dinners and concerts and all these things that we all, I think, desperately miss, and hopefully we'll be able to do soon, it creates a space to learn new things, to grow your knowledge, to work on something new for you and your business, for, you know, personally or for economics. It's a great time to add to your knowledge base, both for your business and personally. And again, I would say teach your clients how to use these tools. Explain to your clients how they can virtually look at homes, how they can do virtual tours so that people can see their house without having to come inside. That would definitely help some people who are going to wait, decide to move sooner. And there's a lot of folks that they really should be moving in or out of homes for their reasons. that are on pause because of fear. And if you can help reduce that and show them how that there's kind of adaptive ways to do these things without being exposed to so many people, I think you can definitely win more clients. And at a minimum, you're going to help people understand what their options are.